Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of Water World, to r/creepy encounters. I'm your guide Q, and it's kind of hard to describe this subreddit because it's creepy encounters, so it's kind of like Let's Not Meet, but there's more of a tendency here to have a more ambiguous ending where you don't really know what was wrong. I mean, one of these stories has a clear ending where something is wrong, but a lot of the times it's like something off just happened, and it almost makes you more uncomfortable that you don't exactly know what was going on. So let's get into the stories. Please walk next to me. I was 17 years old and heading home after my dance class. I live in a pretty small town and it usually takes me about 10 to 15 minutes by bike to come home. I rode next to a neuropsychiatry hospital building. It was an isolated part of the city hospital. The other hospital buildings were concentrated a few kilometers away in another part of the city. This is important for the rest of my story. So I was riding my bike on the sidewalk after passing the street light when a man who just got out of the hospital asked me for help. He was barefoot, he had a cut on his leg, and his head had a little bloody scar. He looked scared and panicked and asked me if I could explain to him how to get to the hospital, the main building with the emergency rooms, because the workers in the neuropsychiatry didn't want to treat his leg wound. This was not unusual, and it even happened to me because the healthcare centers aren't really well organized here. I told the man where the hospital is and explained to him how to get there. He thanked me and then he suddenly looked scared again. He asked me whether I could ride my bike on the sidewalk next to him for some time. I got really scared, but the man was either a superb actor or he was actually terrified to death. He told me, "Please, just a few meters. I can walk normally. I just need you to go next to me." I just silently rode my bike slowly enough for him to walk next to me. I feel like I have to point out that this man never got suspiciously close to me or even really looked at me. He kept the distance. He just kept looking back and nervously checking his phone. The street was not empty. There were some people with a baby on the other side, and that made me feel safer. The 17-year-old me was not scared by now because I knew that I could escape to the road at any time I wanted to and just get out of there. But I got scared only a few steps later. It all happened in 2 minutes. The man's phone rang. He answered it and said, "Yeah, I see them. They're in a black Fiat 500 behind me." I just had to turn around. There was indeed a black Fiat car behind us that seemed to speed up when I turned around, but it could have easily been my fear that made it up. Yes, don't worry, I'm walking next to a girl and she helped me. I'm going to the hospital, call me in 20 minutes. My legs were shaking. The black car now noticeably sped up, and after a few seconds it was barely visible on the road. The weird man then told me, "Girl, I really appreciate what you did to me. You saved my life. Now go fast and goodbye." By this time I was absolutely scared to death. I think I never rode my bike as fast as then. When I got home, I immediately checked online, and the car model was the model the guy was talking about. It was the one I saw. I know it doesn't prove anything, but it just kept me up all night. Looking back now, I still have no idea what the hell happened here. Okay, so my first suspicion with this story was that maybe this guy was like bait in some sort of situation where you get somebody to feel bad for you, you get them to walk next to you or ride their bike next to you, and then other people come and pounce on you and like steal your stuff or kidnap you or something like that. Like, I was jumping to that situation, but when the car just like didn't do anything and just drove off really fast, it really makes it very ambiguous what the hell was going on, just like this person said. Let me know if you have any theories, because I genuinely cannot imagine what was going on here. Maybe the car was coming after him and it drove off because there was somebody else involved, but I don't know why a 17-year-old girl would scare off somebody that wanted to do something bad to this guy. I'm just very confused. The second wildest thing a customer has ever said to me. Alright folks, stop me if you've heard this before, but this one comes from my time as a Walmart cashier. I was 20 at the time and ran a register at a very large supercenter. So large that we had 4 registers out in the garden section where I worked at the time. The fresh air and natural light made it far preferable to being inside. The customers were usually pretty friendly if you were polite. This is about one such customer, a friendly, around 30-year-old woman with a cart full of groceries. We made pleasant small talk and we told each other a few jokes. Places to eat, bad drivers we've seen, basic stuff. The lady behind her joined in and we had a nice, if nondescript time. Then I scanned her last item and handed her her receipt, and she let go of her cart, dropped her smile, and looked at me deadly serious in the eyes and said, "Remember, if you're ever in a place you don't want to be, draw a circle on the ground and step out of it, and you'll wake up sometime else." and then left. It was half warning, half common sense to her, like in the Truman Show where they'd go, "And in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night." I'd like to add that I asked the other lady if she heard that too, to which she responded with a concerned, she didn't say anything, which meant there were zero witnesses to what she said. I asked a bunch of my friends, family, and coworkers if they'd ever heard something like that. I thought it may have been like a cultural blessing or farewell or something. Dead end, whatever. A Google search or three later, and the closest thing I could find was an old Jewish belief about magical circles protecting you from demons. In that case, though, stepping out would be, a bad idea. The part that creeped me more than anything else was how sharp a turn it was. This woman went from ideal neighbor to straight up Mad Hatter on a dime. I don't know if y'all find this creepy or not, but I've been kept up at night just wondering what that was about and why the other lady didn't notice. If you're ever in a place you don't want to be, draw a circle on the ground and step out of it, and you'll wake up sometime else. I'm just trying to analyze that statement and see if there's any meaning I can gather from it. My first thought was that maybe this woman is a witch or something like that, or practices Wicca or something along those lines, and was oh, this lady seems really good, let me give her some really good advice for her life. If she's feeling bad, she can do this spell or whatever and wake up in a different time and place or something. My second thought slash theory was that maybe it was some sort of life philosophy where if you're in a bad situation or if you're somewhere where you don't want to be, just draw a circle, contain all of that badness in that circle, and then walk away from it and just move on. But the change in tone just doesn't line up with that theory, so let me know what you guys think, because this is another thing that just confuses me to no end and is concerning and scary. Second Walmart story in a row, but this one is much different. This happened in a Walmart parking lot. This just happened literally an hour ago. Today is Saturday, and since my weekdays are jam-packed, I like to run all of my errands on Saturdays. After finishing up my grocery shopping and dropping off the dry cleaning, I realized I still needed to buy some cleaning supplies. I decided to go to Walmart to buy the cleaning supplies. Mistake number one. Target is only a few more miles away, should have just gone the distance. Sometimes laziness gets the best of you, today it got me, so here I am on my way to Walmart. As soon as I arrive, I park my car and I noticed a disheveled-looking middle-aged man standing in the parking lot. He is standing between two cars near the driver's side door of one car and the passenger side door of the car next to it. I figure he is going to get into one of the cars as either the passenger or driver, so I continued on my way. Yet, there's something about him that threw me off. The man had a vacant look on his face. I doubt he even noticed that I had noticed him. Moving forward, I go into Walmart, pick up a bunch of cleaning supplies so I can deep clean my home and get a few knickknacks here and there. All in all, I've spent about an hour in Walmart. On my way out, I exit from the door opposite to the one I came in from because it was closer to my register and I'm going to walk the same distance to my car, whether it is in the store or outside of the store. As I'm walking back to my car, I spot the same man, but he isn't where he was when I had walked into the store. He's between two different cars on the opposite side of the parking lot. He has the same blank look on his face and is just standing there. Something about this man has got my attention, and I'm starting to worry that maybe something is wrong and he needs help. I mean, why is he still in the parking lot over an hour later and still standing between two completely different cars? After I get my stuff in the car and start the engine, I start to drive home. But then I just can't do it. I feel like this man might be in some sort of distress and think to myself, what kind of horrible person would ignore feelings like this and just drive off? Mistake number two. I turn around and drive back to Walmart and park my car in the nearest open spot. As predicted, he is still there. He didn't even notice that I was walking towards him. With caution, I approached him and asked if everything was okay. He turned and looked at me but didn't say a word. I was still 2 spots away from him, so I continued to walk towards him and asked again, "Excuse me, sir, are you okay?" He looked me dead in the eye and said, "F*** off!" That's when I looked down and saw that he was pleasuring himself. This caught me off guard and I quickly retreated back to my car and drove off. On my way home, I called the police and reported the incident. Whatever happened to him is anyone's guess. So creepy. This one's really creepy because this woman was doing objectively the right thing, like the thing that a good person should do, but it ended up coming back to bite her. Luckily, not too badly, but it is just a really great example of like sometimes the right thing to do is actually the wrong thing to do because people are dangerous and in general just can't be trusted. I mean, stranger danger applies to adults dealing with these situations as well. And like, I've found that even though it feels bad in the moment sometimes your best plan of action is to just put your head down and ignore it. Just move on. And as much as that hurts, a really good person with good instincts like this woman, it can really save your life in certain situations. Maybe not save your life, but it'll keep you safe in a lot of situations where something bad could possibly happen. And having said that, I'm really sorry that this happened to this woman. Like, I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry you being a good person ended up kind of scarring you by having to see this man pleasure himself in a parking lot. And I hope you don't lose that good nature that you clearly have and you just apply it to different situations than this in the future. I'm sorry. Hey, your boy is going to be doing his first YouTube live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm super nervous for it, but I'm trying to prepare for this big charity CSGO live stream we have happening this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to involve some really cool people like Slazo and Softcore and Bluesdank and King Ani and Dark Dom and frickin' other people that are awesome. The live stream is going to be benefiting the Mary Rice Center and UNICEF USA, both great causes, and also there's going to be a third charity that the third team is going to decide on. But in order to prepare for that and practice YouTube live streaming, I'm going to live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm just going to be playing some CSGO very casually, talking to you guys a ton in chat. We're going to open up the validation station on Twitter so you guys can send in pictures of yourself, your pets, artwork that you do, music that you do, anything. If it's created by you, you can submit it there. I'll be taking some suggestions of things to do, like videos to check out, maybe some posts to read on Reddit. I'm really excited for the stream, so I hope to see you there. Skate on to the best of your abilities. Make sure you're drinking more water. You can find my social media in the description down below, alongside my Amazon affiliate links for all of the equipment I use. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.